Welcome to the crime catalogue. It was a typically cold Scottish December morning when a man walking his dog along Prestwick Beach made a terrible discovery. Laying on the beach was the body of a woman. Covered in sand and seaweed, she had seemingly been washed up on the tide. Identified as 30-year-old Swedish national Annie Börjesson, the case appeared to be a tragic tale of suicide. A woman's life ended in her prime at her own hand. However, all was not quite as it appeared. Arriving in Scotland from her native Sweden in 2004, Annie Börjesson had lived in Edinburgh for over a year, enjoying life in the historic and cultural city. She was half Hungarian, 5'8" and athletic, with the expected Swedish blonde hair and blue eyes. A gifted linguist and talented musician, Annie spoke 5 languages fluently, including English, alongside being active in a band that had played all over Europe. Annie was said to have no financial worries, receiving unemployment support from Sweden and having money on her person when found, including an uncashed £300 check. She had bought a leisure card and paid her rent. The work search was strenuous, however, with Annie having little luck as she searched for a job in the hotel industry that would hopefully lead to her being able to stay in Edinburgh permanently. To unwind, Annie would walk, swim, explore the rich culture and arts of the city, and like most people her age, relax on nights out. It was on one of these nights she met Martin Leslie, a New Zealander by birth. He was an international rugby player who had been capped 37 times for Scotland. Only, the man wasn't Martin Leslie. Indeed, the man might very well have been little more than a huckster trying to impress attractive women with champagne and fraudulent tales of international stardom. Yet, interestingly, it was just before Annie's death that Martin Leslie appeared again at the local swimming pool she utilized. With her preferences for muscular men of the rugby-playing type already known, it was unusual that she had never noticed a man like Leslie there before. Annie's love of rugby was known to everyone who knew her, and, in many respects, Martin Leslie seemed almost designed for her. She was a regular at the Murrayfield Warriors Rugby Club and regularly attended games there. Annie felt uneasy. The last time I spoke with Annie over the phone, we spoke about how fun we would have when she arrived at Stockholm Skavsta Airport. The only thing that was bothering Annie at the time of our conversation was the strange behavior by the man, Martin Leslie. Annie met this man whom she knew as Martin Leslie 2 times during her last week in life. The first meeting made her feel almost a little scared, and during our last phone call she told me about his strange behavior at a rugby gathering at Murrayfield Rugby Club, and she told me that she had now decided to try and keep away from this man. Said Maria Jansen, best friend. Such was the imposter's knowledge of the real Martin Leslie that he was almost an expert on his career. He even talked about his brother John, who also played for Scotland and had a bad knee injury. Despite having only met him twice, Annie told her family that she regarded him as a sexual predator and she was planning to cut off all contact with him. A report in the Scottish Daily Record says that her last email was sent to former Scotland rugby star Martin Leslie from her Edinburgh apartment, and nothing in it showed that she was suicidal. Whether this was the real or fake Martin Leslie isn't clear. The man was never caught. The Börjesson family became increasingly worried before her death, being concerned for their daughter's mental state. She sounded troubled in phone conversations, and a member of staff at the Linton Court Apartments where she lived said that Annie was depressed, telling her she had to take care of something, and had made a decision that might change her life. On December 1st, Gudje Börjesson, Annie's mother, made a call to her cell phone where, after being told the family was worried, Annie responded by saying, "You have to respect this, but I have to take care of myself." Scottish police would later say that there was no record of this call and that Annie's phone had received no calls in the 3 days before her death. That same night, a Thursday, Annie made a call to a friend in Sweden and claimed that she was going to a party that night, starting at 10 p.m. She was evasive about the details but seemed enthused. No witnesses ever came forward to say they had been there or that it had even existed. On Saturday, December 3rd, Annie was at the airport ready for her trip home. She wasn't pictured during the entirety of her journey. Annie didn't pre-book a ticket, yet regularly kept money in a Filofax organizer that she took everywhere with her. However, despite making that 32-mile journey, she spent only 4 minutes and 41 seconds at Prestwick Airport. During her time there, Annie exited to the short-stay car park for reasons that have never been ascertained. There is no cash machine in the car park, and her family have speculated she may have been meeting somebody. CCTV from the airport showed images of Annie exiting the car park looking angry, her rendezvous perhaps having failed to appear. In any event, Annie never made a flight and instead began to walk to Prestwick a mile away. At 8:30 am the following morning, Annie's body was discovered on the beach by a dog walker, her bag and coat alongside her. Unusual, considering the effects of currents, and this fact has given rise to speculation that the body had been placed there. Later investigations would find that unknown DNA was on her hands. In fact, so sure were the local authorities on first sight that the case was a suicide that they made no door-to-door inquiries. Furthermore, no forensic team was called to the scene. No swabs were taken. No fibers were taken. No water was sampled. They never even engaged the Coast Guard to find Annie's missing belongings, which included her fleece top in the Filofax. Body tissue removed during the postmortem was found to contain tiny diatom shells in the sample, identifying them as Navicula lanceolata, which are found in freshwater, not saltwater. The inference that Annie drowned in freshwater and was then moved to the coast is obvious. The Swedish authorities refused to do other tests on the body to prove whether Annie did indeed die in the sea. Around 4 centimeters were found to have been cut from Annie's hair. While it was initially feared this might be the work of a killer, it was later discovered that an undertaker had cut the hair as it was matted with mud and debris. Despite this explanation, other undertakers have said this is highly unusual. Searching for the contact details lost in the Filofax, Annie's mother Guje logged into her Hotmail account. It had been wiped. How this tires the Scottish Daily Record's knowledge of the email to Martin Leslie isn't known. When Annie's best friend Maria Jansen attempted to obtain details of her own telephone calls that she'd made to Annie around the time of her death, they didn't exist. There was not a single record of any call made between Maria and Annie for months. While Annie herself might have deleted the emails, the lack of phone records defied explanation. After Maria started to receive menacingly silent phone calls and have her own troubles accessing her email accounts, she dug deeper. Maria discovered the existence of a U.S. journalist by the name of Christina Börjesson. Annie's full name had been Annie Christina Börjesson. And Christina wasn't just a local journalist giving reports on garage sales in college football, she was an intense critic of U.S. foreign policy. It is believed that she had been investigating the CIA's rendition program that ran through Prestwick Airport. Perhaps then, believing that Christina Börjesson was in Scotland to investigate Prestwick, using the name Annie Börjesson, she had attracted the unwanted attention of the security services, namely MI5 or the CIA. While this may seem fanciful, the Swedish government has since refused all requests to make public their unredacted files on the case, saying that they are classified, and any release of information may do harm to national interests. Information has been deemed classified as secret according to the provision of Chapter 15, Section 1 of the Public Access to Information and Secrecy Act, and has been redacted to the attached file. The reason for this is that the information concerns Sweden's relations with a foreign state and a foreign authority, and it can be assumed that a disclosure will damage Sweden's international relations or, in other ways, harm national interests. With plans made for her return to Sweden, it seems unusual that Annie Börjesson would take the decision to end her own life. At the spot where Annie's body was found, a plaque was erected in her memory. Nobody knows who put it there. You can also share your thoughts with us in the comments. See you next video.